The pasta got cold on my plate. Not because I'd lost my appetite, because I was reading emails that kept arriving one after another, each with the same subject line forwarded: exclusive partnership opportunity. My sister Rachel sat across from me at Mom and Dad's dining table, practically glowing. 28 years old, 3 years younger than me, and she'd just told our parents she'd finally done something meaningful with her marketing degree. It was so easy, Rachel said, twirling her wine glass. Emma keeps her laptop open at the coffee shop every Thursday. I just took photos of her screen over her shoulder for 3 weeks. Got every client name, every email address, every contact detail. Dad raised his glass. That's initiative. That's what separates entrepreneurs from employees. Mom beamed. Your sister's been working so hard at that little consulting job. Maybe this will help her actually build something. My phone buzzed again. I glanced down. Another franchise owner. Then another. The thing about family dinners at my parents' house. They happened in the formal dining room with the chandelier Mom bought in Italy, at the table Dad inherited from his father. Truffle oil in the salad. Wine with actual vintage years. The kind of environment where everything looks expensive because it is. I'd bought this house for them 4 years ago. They didn't know that. The inheritance from Aunt Louise's story had worked perfectly. Rachel kept talking. I sent emails to all 47 contacts this afternoon. Offered them better rates, more personal service, the kind of attention Emma's clearly not providing since she's still driving that 2015 Honda. 47. I asked quietly. Every single one, Rachel said. Your entire client list. I'm offering them 20% discount on whatever you charge. Real business owners know how to compete. My phone buzzed continuously now. I turned it face down, but the vibrations kept coming through the mahogany. You should answer that, Dad said. Might be one of your former clients already jumping ship. I looked at Rachel. Really looked at her. The Tory Burch blouse I'd anonymously paid for last Christmas through Mom's gift. The lease on her downtown apartment I'd guaranteed when she couldn't pass the credit check. The referral I'd made to her current consulting job through my network. She'd spent 3 weeks photographing my laptop screen. Carefully. Methodically. Planning this moment. Tell me about the emails, I said. Rachel pulled out her phone, triumphant. I kept it professional. Dear valued business owner, I'm reaching out to offer you an exclusive partnership opportunity with someone who truly understands your needs. Then I listed all my credentials. Your credentials? I asked. My marketing degree, my consulting experience, my understanding of the service industry. Rachel scrolled through her sent folder. I sent one to Sarah Chin at The Grind, Marcus Williams at Sunset Bistro, David Park at Park Family Pharmacy. All of them. My phone buzzed again. And again. The emails I was seeing had a pattern. Each franchise owner had forwarded Rachel's solicitation with their own message. Emma, your sister just tried to poach me from you? Does she not know you own the franchise system? Is this a test? Why would your family member try to recruit me away from the franchisor? I'm forwarding this per Section 8.4 of our franchise agreement. Any attempted interference must be reported to corporate. This is really awkward. Rachel was still talking. The best part. I undercut your prices. Whatever you're charging, I offered 20% less. That's how you win in business. 20% less than what? I asked. Then whatever you charge for. Whatever it is you do. Rachel waved her hand vaguely. Your consulting thing. Your client services. I'll figure out the details once they start responding. The chandelier above us cast perfect light on her face. She looked so proud. I'd known Rachel was struggling. The consulting job paid $42,000 a year. She'd complained about it endlessly, how she deserved more, how her marketing degree from state should mean something, how everyone else was getting ahead except her. What she didn't know, I'd created that consulting position specifically for her. Called in a favor with the CEO, a former franchise owner who'd sold his location for $2.3 million last year. The position hadn't existed before Rachel needed a job. My phone screen lit up even though it was face down. The vibrations became constant. You should really turn that off, Mom said. It's family dinner. Actually, I said, I should check these. Excuse me for just a moment. I picked up my phone. 23 new emails in the last 4 minutes. I opened one from Marcus Williams, owner of Sunset Bistro in the Pearl District. Emma, I need to report a franchise agreement violation. Your sister Rachel Morrison sent me this email attempting to solicit me away from the Morrison Group franchise system. Per Section 8.4, I'm required to forward any attempted interference to corporate headquarters. I'm also required to inform you as the franchisor. I've CC'd legal. This is really uncomfortable, but the franchise agreement is clear. I'm sorry. Attached was Rachel's email in full, including the part where she'd offered freedom from corporate franchise restrictions and their excessive fees. I opened another email. Then another. All the same, Section 8.4 of the Morrison Group franchise agreement was very clear. I'd written it myself with our legal team 3 years ago. Any attempt by a third party to interfere with the franchise relationship, to solicit franchise owners away from the system, or to offer competing services, had to be reported to corporate within 24 hours. The penalty for attempted interference was equally clear. Legal action, possible restraining orders, and damages calculated at 3x the estimated economic harm. 47 franchise locations. Average annual franchise fees, $48,000 per location. Rachel had just attempted to interfere with $2.256 million in annual recurring revenue. I set my phone down gently. You sent those emails to all 47? I asked. Every single one, Rachel said. By tomorrow morning, you'll be out of business and I'll have a real client base. Dad nodded approvingly. That's the Morrison competitive spirit. I'd started the Morrison Group 9 years ago with one coffee shop and a dream. Not my coffee shop. I'd helped the owner systematize everything, then offered to replicate it. The first franchise sold for $125,000. The second for $150,000. By year 3 I had 12 locations. By year 5 31. Now 47 locations across 3 states. Coffee shops, bistros, pharmacies, boutique fitness studios. Total system sales last year, $67 million. My take as franchisor, $2.4 million in fees, plus percentage royalties on gross sales. The 2015 Honda I drove? Paid in cash. No car payment, no debt, nothing flashy. I'd learned from watching Dad's generation. The people who looked wealthiest often were. The people who acted wealthiest often weren't. My phone buzzed again. I think I should share something with you, I said. Rachel leaned back in her chair. If you're about to beg me not to steal your clients, save it. Business is business. The clients you contacted, I said. They're not clients. I saw the names, Rachel said. I saw the email addresses. Sarah Chin, Marcus Williams, all of them. They're franchise owners, I said. The room went quiet except for the grandfather clock in the hallway. Franchise owners of what? Mom asked. The Morrison Group, I said. My franchise system. I'm the franchisor. They pay me to use my business systems, my branding, my operational frameworks. They don't pay me for consulting services. They pay franchise fees and royalties. Rachel's smile froze. Sarah Chin owns The Grind on Morrison Street, I continued. She bought that franchise for $180,000 3 years ago. Pays $52,000 annually in fees and royalties. Marcus Williams owns Sunset Bistro. He bought in for $240,000 2 years ago. Pays $61,000 annually. David Park owns Park Family Pharmacy. Paid $195,000 for his franchise. Pays $48,000 annually. I picked up my phone and opened the calculator app. You contacted 47 franchise owners. You offered to provide them services in competition with their franchisor. Me. You attempted to solicit them away from their franchise agreements. I showed them the screen. The franchise agreement they all signed includes Section 8.4. Any attempted interference must be reported to corporate within 24 hours. Dad's wine glass stopped halfway to his mouth. The penalty for interference is calculated at 3 times estimated economic harm, I said. You attempted to disrupt relationships generating $2.256 million in annual fees. Times 3. I paused. That's $6.768 million in potential damages. Rachel's face went white. You're lying. I opened my email and turned the phone around. 23 franchise owners have already forwarded your solicitation email to me. All of them cited Section 8.4. All of them CC'd our legal team. I scrolled through. Several mentioned they're uncomfortable but contractually obligated to report attempted interference. Mom's fork clattered against her plate. This is a joke, Rachel said. You don't own a franchise system. You do consulting or something. I opened my business banking app. Turned the phone around again. Morrison Group Holdings LLC. Primary checking account. Current balance. $1.4 million. That's after quarterly distributions, franchise fee payments processing this week, and last month's expansion into Colorado. The number sat there on the screen. Undeniable. Rachel grabbed for my phone. I pulled it back. You can verify everything, I said calmly. The Morrison Group is registered with the FTC. Our franchise disclosure document is public record. I'm listed as the founder and CEO. There are 47 active franchise agreements across Oregon, Washington, and Colorado. The Honda, Dad said quietly. Paid in cash, I said. 2015 was a good year for used car values. No payment, no interest, no debt. The apartment, Mom whispered. I own the building, I said. Bought it 5 years ago. Property management company handles the day-to-day. I live in Unit 4B because it has good light. Rachel stood up abruptly. Her chair scraped against the hardwood I'd paid to refinish 2 years ago when insurance covered it after that pipe leak. This is insane, Rachel said. You're making this up. My phone buzzed. I glanced at it. That's Trevor Morrison from Morrison Legal. No relation, different Morrison. He's our franchise attorney. He's asking if I want to proceed with legal action against the individual who sent the solicitation emails. I looked at Rachel. I have to respond within 24 hours. You wouldn't, Rachel said. I don't want to, I said honestly. But 23 franchise owners have already reported Section 8.4 violations. The franchise agreement is clear. If I don't respond appropriately, I'm in breach of my obligations to the franchise system. The grandfather clock chimed. 7:30. There's another issue, I said quietly. You obtained the contact information through unauthorized access. You admitted you photographed my laptop screen without permission over multiple weeks. That's potentially criminal depending on how our attorney interprets the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. Dad's face had gone gray. I helped you, Dad said. I told her it was good initiative. You congratulated corporate espionage, I said. But you didn't know what she'd actually accessed. Mom stood up quickly. Emma, honey, let's talk about this. Rachel made a mistake. Rachel planned this for 3 weeks, I said. Photographed my screen multiple times. Compiled the database. Wrote the emails. Sent them to 47 people. This wasn't a mistake. It was premeditated. Rachel's hands were shaking. I didn't know. You didn't ask, I said. You saw names on a screen and assumed they were clients you could steal. You offered them freedom from corporate franchise restrictions. You called my franchise fees excessive. You attempted to dismantle relationships worth $2.25 million annually. My phone buzzed again. Another franchise owner reporting the violation. Here's what happens next, I said. Trevor Morrison is filing legal paperwork tomorrow morning. Cease and desist orders, preliminary injunction against further contact, demand for damages. Every franchise owner who reported the violation, 23 so far, becomes evidence in the case. Please, Rachel whispered. The franchise agreements require it, I said. Section 8.4 protects franchise owners from interference. If I don't enforce it, I'm exposing all 47 franchise owners to future attacks. I'm showing the system is weak. I stood up slowly. The house, I said, looking around. The inheritance from Aunt Louise, that paid off your mortgage? That was me. The down payment on Rachel's apartment I guaranteed? That was me. The consulting job at Davidson and Partners? I created that position for her. Mom's eyes filled with tears. The client database you stole, I said to Rachel, represents 9 years of work. Building relationships. Creating systems. Helping business owners succeed. You tried to destroy that in one afternoon because you thought I was small enough to compete with. Rachel sank back into her chair. I'll be in touch through Trevor Morrison, I said. All communication goes through legal now. That's not anger, that's protocol. I picked up my bag. Dad finally spoke. Emma, wait. The really painful part, I said, turning back, is that you thought so little of me. You saw my Honda and assumed I was struggling. You saw my laptop at a coffee shop and assumed I was small time. You never asked what I actually did. You just assumed you could take it. I walked toward the door. The Morrison Group employs 347 people across 47 locations, I said. It generates $67 million in system sales. It helps business owners build wealth. And you tried to destroy it because Dad told you I was an employee who needed ambition. The front door felt heavy. Or maybe that was just everything else. 3 months later, the settlement was finalized. Rachel paid $47,000, $1,000 per franchise owner contacted, and signed a permanent agreement never to contact, solicit, or interfere with any Morrison Group franchise owner or operation. She moved back in with Mom and Dad. The consulting job ended quietly. I bought my 48th franchise location in November. A bakery in Boulder. The owner cried when I handed her the franchise agreement. She'd been trying to systemize for years. My phone still sits open at the coffee shop every Thursday. But now I use privacy screens. Some lessons cost $47,000. Some lessons teach you that family will congratulate you for betraying family if they think you're winning. The Morrison Group hit $71 million in system sales this year. Franchise number 50 opens in January. Dad still doesn't understand what I do. Mom asks occasionally about my little business. Rachel and I don't speak. The hardest betrayals aren't violent, they're casual. Someone sees your life's work and thinks, I could take that. Someone photographs your success and calls it ambition. I paid for their house. She tried to destroy my business. Dad congratulated her. The math was always clear. I just hadn't wanted to calculate it.